The galaxy was alive with joy. For the first time in many years, peace seemed near. The great empires that ruled the stars had fought a long and terrible war. Many planets were destroyed. Many lives were lost. Now the leaders of the galaxy gathered on a shining space station to declare their victory. They spoke proudly, saying the war was over. Their voices were strong and full of hope. But far away, on a small blue planet called Earth, things were very different. People there did not join the celebration. They watched quietly. Hidden deep underground, Earth's secret warships were being prepared. These ships were unlike any others in the galaxy. They were fast, strong, and filled with new technology no one had seen before. A young Earth officer named Maya stood on the bridge of one of these warships. Her eyes were sharp, and her heart was full of hope and fear. She knew that what Earth was doing could change everything. But she also knew that the galaxy did not expect Earth to fight back. The galaxy thought Earth was weak. Suddenly an alarm rang out. A strange signal was coming from deep space. Maya's hands moved quickly over the controls. The signal was not friendly. It was a warning from an unknown source, a message that Earth was not alone in its plans. Across the galaxy, spies watched too. One alien spy gasped when he saw Earth's fleet on his screen. "They are stronger than we thought," he whispered. The galaxy's victory was not as sure as everyone believed. Earth's warships moved silently through the dark space. The stars outside seemed calm, but inside the ships, tension filled the air. Every person on board knew something big was about to happen. They were ready, but no one could say for sure what the galaxy's next move would be. The galaxy's leaders believed they had already won, but Earth's fleet was proof that the war was far from over. Captain Maya stood on the bridge of the largest warship. Her eyes scanned the deep space ahead, full of strange shadows and quiet mysteries. The ship's engines hummed with power and the control panels glowed softly. She thought about everything Earth had done to prepare for this moment. The secret training, the new technology, the long nights spent in silence. Many people on Earth did not understand why they had to hide. The galaxy's empires looked down on Earth and saw only a small, simple world. They thought Earth would never fight. They were wrong. Suddenly, a message came through the ship's communication system. It was from the galaxy's scouts, warning that the enemy's fleets were moving fast. The galaxy was trying to stop Earth before its warships reached the front lines. Maya felt her heart beat faster. The quiet calm was ending. "Prepare the fleet," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We must show them what Earth can do." In the control room, officers worked quickly. They checked weapons, shields, and engines. Every detail mattered. Earth's warships were not just machines. They were symbols of hope for the people who believed in a better future. Meanwhile, far away, the galaxy's leaders gathered in panic. Their victory celebrations had turned to fear. How had Earth grown so strong without their knowledge? The galaxy's best commanders were sent to stop the Earth fleet. They believed their power was enough, but Earth's warships were different. On one of the Earth ships, a young engineer named Liam studied the new energy system. It was a secret weapon, designed to protect the ships and surprise their enemies. Liam smiled quietly. This new system could change the battle. As Earth's fleet moved closer, distant lights appeared. The galaxy's warships. They were huge and brightly lit, ready to block Earth's path. The space between the two fleets became a silent battlefield. Maya watched carefully as the enemy ships arranged themselves in a strong formation. The galaxy was confident. They did not expect Earth to fight with skill and courage. Suddenly, a small Earth scout ship darted forward. It moved faster than anyone expected, weaving between enemy sensors. It sent back important information about the enemy's positions and weaknesses. Maya used this data to plan her next move. "We will use their own formation against them," she told her crew. "We will surprise them." The galaxy's leaders did not notice the small changes in their battle line. They thought they were safe, but Earth's warships began to move, like shadows, slipping through gaps and avoiding enemy fire. The tension grew with every moment. Both fleets were silent but alert, waiting for the right time to act. Suddenly the calm was broken. A bright flash appeared in the distance, the first shot fired by an Earth warship. It was not meant to destroy but to warn. The message was clear. Earth was here, and it was ready. The Galaxy's fleet responded quickly, sending out fast scouts to find the Earth ships. But Earth's crew was prepared. They used clever tricks to confuse the enemy sensors and hide their true numbers. Captain, Maya smiled. This was just the beginning. The Galaxy thought it had won, but Earth was showing a new kind of strength, one built on hope, intelligence, and courage. As the two fleets moved closer, both sides knew the fight would not be easy, but Earth's people believed in their ships and their mission. They believed the Galaxy's story of victory was not finished. Deep in the control room, Liam watched the energy levels rise. The secret weapon was ready. Soon, Earth's fleet would change the course of history. The Galaxy's leaders grew more worried with every passing minute. They had to stop Earth, or lose everything. But Captain Maya knew one thing for sure. Earth would not back down. The Tau. Galaxy might have declared victory too soon, but the real battle was just beginning. The Galaxy's leaders sat in a large, bright hall. Their faces were pale. The news from the front lines was not good. Earth's warships had surprised them all. The Galaxy had believed the battle was won, but now fear filled the room. They had never seen Earth's fleet fight like this before. It was stronger, smarter, and faster than anyone expected. The council leader stood and spoke in a steady voice. We underestimated Earth. Their power is greater than we thought. We must act quickly if we want to save the Galaxy's future. Outside, in the vast space between stars, Earth's fleet moved with quiet confidence. Captain Maya stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the enemy's movements carefully. She felt a strange mix of hope and pressure. This was a test, not only for the ships, but for everyone who believed in Earth's strength. Suddenly, a bright light flashed in the distance. The Galaxy's fleet had formed a wall of ships to block Earth's advance. The space was filled with thousands of shining warships all moving as one. It looked like a wall of stars, steady and strong. Maya took a deep breath. This is the moment, she said quietly. We must be smart. We cannot break through with force alone. She turned to her officers. Use the new tactics we trained for. Use their formation against them. The warships changed their direction slowly. They moved like water flowing around rocks. The Galaxy's fleet held its line, confident it would stop Earth. But Earth's ships were different. They were prepared to do more than fight. They were ready to outsmart the enemy. One Earth ship flew close to the enemy's edge, sending out false signals. These signals made the Galaxy's sensors confused. The enemy warships started to move, unsure where the real threat was. Maya smiled. This was the key: confusion. If the enemy could not see clearly, they would make mistakes. And mistakes could change the whole battle. Meanwhile, on the Galaxy's flagship, the commanders were watching their screens nervously. The strange signals made it hard to tell what was happening. They are tricking us, one officer said. We must stay calm and wait for their next move. But waiting was not easy. The Galaxy's fleet began to break its formation to look for Earth's real ships. Small gaps appeared in the once solid wall of warships. At that moment, Earth's fleet took action. Using the gaps, several fast ships slipped through, reaching deep into the Galaxy's lines. These ships were not meant to fight, but to gather more information and disable enemy sensors quietly. Captain Maya's voice came over the communication system. This is our chance. Move carefully and quickly. We will open the way for the rest of the fleet. The crew worked with skill and calm. They knew the Galaxy was watching every move. The pressure was high, but Earth's people had trained for this. Suddenly, one of the Galaxy's scouts appeared close to an Earth ship. It tried to scan and find weaknesses, but the Earth ship's new technology blocked the scan completely. The scout sent an urgent message back. Earth's ships were stronger than expected. Back on Earth's flagship, Maya looked at the glowing map showing their positions. The galaxy's fleet was losing its perfect shape. The wall was breaking. She turned to her officers. "We are doing well, but we must not rush. The galaxy still has power. Stay alert." Then, a new message came from the galaxy. It was not a warning or a threat. It was a question. A challenge. "We see you, Earth. Why do you fight when peace could come? Why risk everything?" Maya read the message carefully. She knew this was more than a question. It was a test of will. She replied, "Peace must be earned. We fight because our future depends on it. We fight to protect what is right." The silence that followed was heavy. Both sides waited, knowing the next moves would decide much more than just a battle. They would decide the future of the galaxy. As the fleets moved closer again, the tension grew. Neither side wanted to make a mistake. The galaxy's leaders began to understand that Earth was not just a small world. It was a force with a purpose and strength they could no longer ignore. Deep inside the Earth flagship, Maya felt a new determination. This was not just a fight for survival. It was a fight for respect, for truth, and for hope. She looked at her crew and said, "The galaxy thought it had won, but they were wrong. We will show them what Earth can do." The warships moved forward, ready for the next stage of the battle. The galaxy's victory was no longer certain. The real story was just beginning. The silence of space was broken only by the quiet hum of engines and the faint beep of control panels. Both fleets floated like giants in the dark, waiting for the moment that would change everything. "Captain." Maya stood on the bridge of the flagship, her eyes sharp and her mind calm. But her heart was steady with determination. The galaxy's great fleets were here, ready to stop Earth's advance. But Earth's warships were ready too, not just with machines, but with people who believed they could make a difference. The galaxy's fleet was vast, filled with ships of all sizes, shining like stars against the dark backdrop. Their commanders were confident. They had the experience of many battles, the power of old alliances, and the weight of history behind them. They expected Earth to falter, but Earth's ships moved with quiet purpose. They did not rush into battle blindly. Instead, they used careful plans, practiced for months in secret. The crew knew every move, every step, every possible danger. They were ready to meet the challenge. Suddenly, a signal came in from a small Earth scout ship. It had slipped through the galaxy's formation and was now close to one of their biggest warships. The scout sent back pictures and information that made the crew's eyes widen. The galaxy's warship was strong, but it had a weakness in its shield system, a small gap that could be used to slip through if the timing was perfect. Captain Maya looked at the data and made a quick decision. "Prepare the fleet. We will try a new tactic. We will move through their shields at the weak points. It will be risky, but it may be our only chance." Her officers nodded. They moved swiftly, sharing the orders across the ships. The warships adjusted their courses, moving quietly and carefully like dancers preparing for a performance. As the Earth fleet began to approach the galaxy's wall of ships, tension grew. The galaxy's commanders watched closely, but their confidence had a crack. They had not expected Earth to find a way through so quickly. Maya's flagship led the way. It flew toward the shield gap with steady speed. The galaxy's warship noticed and sent signals to close the gap, but it was too late. Earth's ship slipped through the shield like a shadow, disappearing from enemy sensors. Behind it, more ships followed, moving through the openings one by one. The galaxy's fleet tried to respond, but Earth's strategy was too clever, too fast. The wall of stars began to break apart. Inside the galaxy's command ship, the leaders felt a cold chill. Their great wall was cracking. They sent more ships to block Earth's path, but the damage was done. On Earth's flagship, the crew cheered quietly. They knew this was a moment of victory, but also a moment to stay focused. The real fight was still ahead. Suddenly, a new message came from the galaxy's leaders. It was not a challenge or a threat, but an offer. "If you stop this advance, we will talk. We want peace." Maya read the message carefully. She knew peace was important, But she also knew the galaxy had to respect Earth's place. She answered, "Peace is a goal we all share, but respect must come first. We cannot stop now." The galaxy's leaders waited for her next move. The two fleets hovered in the quiet space, neither wanting to make a wrong step. The galaxy's ships were powerful, but Earth's fleet had changed the story. They were no longer weak or small. They were a force to be counted on. As Earth's ships moved deeper into the galaxy's territory, the crew began to feel the weight of their mission. They were not just fighting for Earth. They were fighting for every planet that hoped for freedom and respect. Captain Maya looked out into the endless stars. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "We have shown them our strength, but we must be ready for what comes next." The galaxy's warships prepared for their next move, but for the first time in a long time, their commanders were uncertain. Earth was no longer just a small world. Earth was a power, and the galaxy would have to change its ways. The space between the fleets grew quiet again. But behind that quiet, the story was changing fast. The war was not over, and the galaxy's greatest challenge was only starting to unfold. The space around the fleets was filled with tension and quiet sounds of preparation. Both sides knew that what happened next could change the future of the galaxy. Captain Maya stood calmly on the bridge of Earth's flagship, watching the stars and the distant shapes of enemy ships. The galaxy's forces were still strong, but Earth's fleet had shown that it could think differently and move faster. Maya thought about the journey that had brought them here, the long months of secret training, the late nights spent learning new technology, and the hope that everyone had carried quietly inside. She knew that they were no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting for respect, for trust, and for a future where Earth could stand tall among the stars. Suddenly, a new signal came through. It was from an unknown source, not from Earth, and not from the galaxy's known fleets. The message was short, but clear. "Stop. The war is not what it seems." Maya's brow furrowed. "Who sent this?" she asked quietly. Her communications officer replied, "It is encrypted and disguised. We cannot tell yet." The message made everyone uneasy. If there was someone else watching this fight, someone unknown and powerful, then the stakes were higher than they had thought. Maya ordered the crew to stay alert. "We cannot let surprises catch us off guard," she said firmly. "We must be ready for anything." The fleet moved carefully, watching for signs of new threats. The galaxy's forces also sensed the change. They sent scouts to search the empty spaces looking for hidden ships or secret weapons. As the days passed, the silence in space became heavy. No ships attacked, no messages came, but the feeling of waiting grew stronger. It was like a storm gathering far away, ready to break at any moment. Meanwhile, on Earth, leaders watched the battle closely. They knew that this moment was important, not just for their fleet, but for all humanity. People everywhere waited, hoping that Earth's courage would bring a new beginning. Back on the flagship, Maya thought about the unknown message. Who could want to stop the war? Was it someone who wanted peace or someone who wanted to control both sides? The question stayed in her mind, unanswered. Suddenly, a small scout ship returned with news. It had found something strange, an empty place in space where ships had been recently. There were signs of advanced technology, unlike anything Earth or the galaxy had seen. Maya's eyes widened. "This could be the key to the message," she said. "We must investigate." She sent a team of explorers to the area. They moved cautiously, ready for anything. When they reached the spot, they found strange structures floating in space, silent, mysterious, and powerful. The explorers sent back images. The structures seemed alive with energy, but they gave no sign of who built them or what they wanted. Maya looked at the pictures and felt a mix of fear and hope. "These could change everything," she said. "We must learn what they are before it is too late." The galaxy's leaders also heard of the discovery. They sent their own experts to study the strange structures, realizing that this was not just a fight between Earth and the galaxy anymore. Something bigger was at work. Both sides paused, watching and waiting. The warships stayed in position, ready but cautious. Maya knew that the next steps were crucial. The future depended not only on power, but on wisdom and courage. As the unknown, structures glowed faintly in the dark space. The crews of both fleets held their breath. The story of the galaxy was changing again, and the real challenge was just beginning. The endless black of space stretched around the two fleets, still and waiting. Captain Maya stood on the bridge of the flagship, her gaze fixed on the unknown structures that floated silently ahead. These strange creations pulsed with a soft, steady light, unlike any technology she had seen. The energy they gave off was strong yet calm, as if they held secrets waiting to be unlocked. The crew whispered among themselves, their voices low, but filled with curiosity and caution. The galaxy's fleet was also watching, their warships forming a cautious circle around the mysterious objects. The leaders of the galaxy had sent messages hoping to learn more. Peace talks had paused for now. The presence of these structures demanded attention. Both sides knew this was more than a battle between Earth and the galaxy. It was a moment that could change the fate of all. Captain Maya felt the weight of responsibility heavy on her shoulders. "We have to understand what this is," she told her officers. "It could be a new power, a new friend, or something dangerous we cannot yet see." The crew prepared special teams, scientists and engineers ready to explore. Their ships moved, close but carefully scanning and sending back data. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful. Suddenly, the scanners picked up a faint signal coming from the structures. It was not like any language or code they knew, but it was clear. Someone or something was trying to communicate. Maya's communications officer worked quickly, trying to decode the signal. Hours passed, and then slowly, a pattern began to emerge. The message was a greeting, peaceful but urgent. It spoke of an ancient race, long gone, who had left these structures to protect the galaxy from a hidden threat. The crew listened in silence as the message continued. The ancient race warned of dangers far beyond the battles between Earth and the galaxy. They spoke of forces that could destroy stars and life itself if not stopped. Maya looked at her officers. "This changes everything," she said. "Our fight is part of a much bigger story. We need to join together, all of us." She sent a message to the galaxy's leaders. "We must work together to face this threat. Fighting each other now will only make us weaker." The response was slow, but hopeful. The galaxy's leaders agreed to a temporary truce to learn more about the new danger. Ships from both sides began working together, sharing knowledge and plans. The crews found new strength in their cooperation. They trained and prepared for what might come, knowing that the future depended on their unity. As days turned to weeks, Earth's fleet and the galaxy's warships stood side by side. The unknown threat still loomed, but hope had returned. Captain Maya stood once more on the bridge looking at the stars. The fight that had started as a battle for survival had grown into something greater. It was now a fight for the future of the galaxy, for peace, and for the chance to build a new story, one of courage, friendship, and hope. The unknown structures pulsed softly, as if waiting for the next step in a journey that had only just begun.